There is a kind of ignorance that goes beyond a lack of knowledge. It is more subtle, more insidious. It resides not in what one knows, but in how one chooses to live. This is the ignorance the Stoics spoke of, the rejection of self-mastery, the refusal to cultivate virtue, and the indulgence in destructive emotions. In Stoicism, wisdom is not about accumulating facts or intellectual brilliance. It is about aligning our lives with reason and nature. Epictetus taught that the foundation of a meaningful life lies in understanding what is within our control and what is not. Failing to grasp this principle leads to misery, self-destruction, and what the Stoics would call stupidity, not in the academic sense, but in a moral one. This text is not intended to shame or belittle, but to illuminate and inspire. By understanding the behaviors and mindsets that mark a foolish person, we can avoid their traps and strive for the wisdom that leads to peace and resilience. Let us explore these 6 signs, drawing from the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, and other great minds who have guided us through the centuries. For in uncovering folly, we uncover the path to fortitude and self-mastery. Let us begin. Number 1. Blaming others for their misfortunes. A foolish person looks outward to assign blame. When life deals them hardship, they lash out, pointing fingers at the world, at others, and at fate. In their minds, responsibility is something to avoid, not embrace. To the Stoics, this is the epitome of ignorance. Seneca observed, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable, if it has resolved to make itself so." The foolish, however, surrender that power willingly. Blaming others is a refusal to accept what is within our control. It demonstrates a failure to grasp the Stoic truth, that our perception of events, not the events themselves, determines our peace of mind. When Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength," he was reminding us that external forces may harm our bodies, but only we can harm our souls. To blame is to give others the power over your emotions and decisions. The wise person does not waste time lamenting the actions of others. Instead, they ask, "What is within my power to change?" The answer is always the same: our thoughts, our actions, our attitudes. True wisdom lies in mastering these, for they are all we truly own. Let us not be like the fool who blames, but like the sage who takes ownership of their destiny. Number 2. Lacking control over emotions. The foolish are slaves to their emotions, ruled by anger, envy, fear, or desire. They are like ships adrift at sea, tossed by every wave of passion and circumstance. To the Stoics, this lack of control is the greatest weakness of all. As Epictetus warns, no man is free who is not master of himself. A person consumed by emotions becomes reactive, losing the ability to think clearly and act rationally. Anger blinds them to reason, envy corrodes their sense of gratitude, fear paralyzes them, and unchecked desire leads them down destructive paths. The foolish live as though they are victims of their feelings, never realizing they have the power to govern them. The Stoics did not advocate suppressing emotions, but mastering them. Seneca likened unchecked emotions to wild horses, powerful but dangerous if left untamed. He wrote, "It is not that we should be without feelings, but that feelings should obey reason." This distinction is crucial. To feel is human, but to let feelings dictate our actions is folly. The wise cultivate calm and composure. They recognize that emotions are fleeting and often deceptive, and they choose not to act in haste. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his Meditations, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." This is the Stoic way, to pause, reflect, and respond with reason rather than react impulsively. Let us strive to be masters of our inner world, steady amidst life's storms, and never prisoners of our own emotions. Number 3. Speaking more than listening. The foolish are quick to speak but slow to listen. They seek to dominate conversations, to prove their worth through words. Yet in doing so, they reveal their ignorance. A wise person, the Stoics remind us, values silence and the wisdom that comes from truly listening. As Epictetus advised, nature gave us one tongue and two ears so that we may hear twice as much as we speak. Talking excessively is often a symptom of arrogance, a belief that one already knows everything worth knowing. But the truly wise understand that wisdom comes from humility and curiosity. Marcus Aurelius observed, "It is impossible to learn that which you think you already know." By listening, we open ourselves to growth and the perspectives of others. The foolish speak to be heard, the wise speak to add value. Seneca wrote, "If you wish to be loved, love. If you wish to be heard, listen." This reflects a fundamental Stoic principle. We should act with intention, whether in words or deeds. Idle chatter serves no purpose, and reckless words can cause harm. To cultivate wisdom, we must learn the art of silence. We must listen deeply, not just to words, but to the meaning behind them. In silence, there is space for thought, reflection, and understanding. The wise are like still waters, deep and steady, while the foolish are like rushing streams, noisy but shallow. Let us be mindful of our words, speak with purpose, and embrace the profound wisdom that comes from listening. Number 4. Avoiding responsibility. The foolish shirk responsibility, seeking comfort in excuses and blaming circumstances for their failures. They fear the weight of accountability, not realizing that responsibility is the foundation of freedom. As Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It can be won only through self-mastery. Responsibility is the key to this mastery. The avoidance of responsibility is a denial of the Stoic principle of ownership over one's choices. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his Meditations, "Each of us lives only now, this brief instant. The rest has been lived already or is impossible to see." To evade responsibility is to waste the present moment, the only time where we have the power to act. The foolish see responsibility as a burden. The wise see it as a privilege. When we take ownership of our actions and choices, we gain the power to shape our destiny. Responsibility aligns us with the Stoic virtue of justice, for it ensures we act with integrity and honor our commitments to others and ourselves. Avoiding responsibility leads to stagnation, while embracing it leads to growth. Seneca wrote, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The foolish wait for luck, but the wise create it through deliberate action and accountability. They do not ask, 'Why me?' but instead ask, 'What can I do?' Let us not shy away from responsibility, but embrace it with courage. For in doing so, we align ourselves with the path of wisdom, strength, and true freedom. Number 5. Living without purpose. A foolish person drifts through life without direction, living from one moment to the next, consumed by trivialities and distractions. They are like a traveler wandering aimlessly, unaware of where they are going or why. The Stoics, however, understood that a life without purpose is a life wasted. Seneca writes, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." Purpose is the compass that guides a life of meaning. Without it, the foolish become enslaved to fleeting pleasures and external validations, chasing goals that neither satisfy nor endure. They fill their days with busyness, mistaking movement for progress, but the wise know better. As Marcus Aurelius said, "People who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse toward are wasting their time, even when hard at work." To live with purpose is to align our actions with our values. The Stoics believed this purpose was rooted in virtue, courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. These virtues form the foundation of a meaningful existence, guiding us toward a life of service, growth, and inner peace. Purpose is not found in wealth, fame, or power. It is cultivated through the consistent practice of these principles. The foolish fear self-reflection, avoiding the hard questions. What am I living for? What legacy will I leave? The wise, however, embrace these questions, for they reveal the path to true fulfillment. Purpose transforms suffering into growth, chaos into order, and fleeting time into a life well lived. Let us reject the aimlessness of folly and commit to a purpose rooted in virtue, for only with purpose can we find the strength to endure life's trials and the clarity to live with intention. Number 6. Being dishonest, especially with oneself. The foolish deceive others, but worse, they deceive themselves. They weave lies to protect their egos, deny uncomfortable truths, and create illusions to avoid facing reality. To the Stoics, dishonesty, especially self-deception, is one of the gravest follies, for it severs us from the very foundation of wisdom, truth. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." The harm is in persistently clinging to one's self-deception and ignorance. Honesty requires courage, for it forces us to confront our flaws, failures, and limitations. The foolish hide from this confrontation, choosing instead to live in denial. They blame others, make excuses, and justify their actions, all to avoid the discomfort of self-awareness. But dishonesty erodes the soul. It clouds judgment, destroys trust, and prevents growth. The wise, however, embrace truth with humility. They understand that facing hard truths is the first step towards self-mastery. Seneca reminds us, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which depends on tomorrow and wastes today." When we are honest with ourselves, we stop waiting for a better time, a better circumstance, or a better version of ourselves to act. Instead, we live fully in the present, grounded in reality. Honesty also extends outward. A person who lies to others cannot maintain integrity or respect. The Stoics believed that a virtuous life must be consistent in thought, word, and deed. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This alignment begins with self-honesty. Let us not fall into the trap of self-deception, but strive to face the truth with courage and clarity. For only in truth can we find freedom, wisdom, and the strength to live virtuously. Conclusion: striving for wisdom. The signs of a foolish person are not meant to judge or condemn, but to guide us toward wisdom. Blaming others, succumbing to emotions, speaking without listening, avoiding responsibility, living without purpose, and being dishonest. These are the pitfalls that lead to suffering and weakness. Yet the Stoics teach us that none of these faults are permanent. With effort, self-discipline, and reflection, we can rise above them. The Stoic path is not easy, but it is transformative. It is a journey towards self-mastery, peace, and resilience. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. The power to change is within us, here and now. We must take ownership of our lives, control our emotions, and pursue truth with courage and purpose. In doing so, we align with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature and reason. Thank you for watching Stoic Blessing. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into Stoic philosophy. Together, let's strive for wisdom and live with virtue. See you in the next video.